Recording. I'm taking this tie off. We're going to start talking truth here. Let's go.
I love it, Rich. You're getting down to business. No messing around here. We're going to talk branding today with the amazing Rich Kozak. Oh my gosh, I love that you took your tie off, man. It's all in. Let me tell you a little bit about Rich. So Rich has actually done so much in his professional career, and who he is. He's a leader and an expert in helping businesses and professionals strategically maximize the impact of the branding process. And one thing I love most about what you do, Rich, is you talk about impact brand and impact-driven brands and what that can look like. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. He insists that clients maintain the integrity of the brand and never crosses the credibility line, and really listens and identifies what is the heart of the brand and how a larger footprint of the brand can have on the world and the people it touches. Oh my goodness. And I know you've worked with incredible $14 billion businesses. You've worked with teenagers. This stuff that you talk about works across the board. So you've got a rare skill set that really flows like water through you, which is amazing. So let's get into talking about branding. Rich, first of all, why are you so passionate about branding?
It's a gift. And I quit branding when I turned 50, but I'm back because I realize I'm supposed to be doing this. So it is a gift to be able to look at someone, listen empathetically, listen to their heart, what visions they see of impacting others' lives or bringing something very positive to serve the world and helping define the brand they must become to make those impacts. That is a process that you don't usually hear about in the world of branding. Branding often means a lot of peremptory things and surface things and visual things. People think it's a logo and that's it, but it's way more than that. And when you do impact-driven branding, which is a process that is specific and it's guaranteed by design, it's a specific process for individuals who want to bring an impact to others' lives or the world in some positive way, to speed the brand to impact, you're on the right track. So if that's you, listen up.
I love it. And that's so powerful that you talk about impact-driven branding. Let's dive into that a little bit more. I know you've got a book coming out, which is going to be incredible. And one of the things that I love most is that you have a system for how to brand. So tell me a little bit about, why is impact-driven branding so important? Why should we care about it? And what makes what you do unique?
Well, for you who are listening, it's important if you know that you're ready to take what you're doing to a higher level because you want to reach more people and it'll make their lives better, or you're going to bring something to the world that doesn't exist, or you're finally going to do what you absolutely love and it's going to help others, or because you have a gift or you have an expertise or you have a process that will help others. If that's you, you really need to listen up. Because when you define the brand you must become, that means you create clarity of the picture of what you'll do for those people's lives who will touch your brand, and you align all the language of the brand so that it races you towards your impacts. Clarity and the languaging creates alignment, and everything you do aligns with making those impacts, and it happens faster. That's pretty simple. The process to make it happen is a process, but it's 7 steps and thank you for mentioning the book. The book is called Impact Driven Branding: 7 Steps to Ensure Your Brand Impacts People's Lives and the World. And it's a how-to book. It's not a book about branding. The world doesn't need another book about branding. This is a how-to book. The reason I do workshops is I teach people who are ready, let's take one impact statement and follow the whole way through. And they sit there and they go, oh, it's just a process. It's just a process. So what a delight. Imagine, Connie, if everyone who had a gift or a skill to touch the world in some way focused on impacts and got there faster, what kind of a better world would it be?
Yeah.
Praise God. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
I totally agree. And I love that is what you help entrepreneurs do. And thank you. Thank you so much for a book that is a how-to book about this. I love it. So Rich, tell me a little bit about, what are some of the biggest mistakes that we make around branding for purpose-driven entrepreneurs?
Okay, well, there are 6 bad consequences, and they reflect the mistakes.
Okay.
Confusion. When a brand says one thing and then says another, or says what it does in 4 or 5 different ways, it creates confusion. If the language isn't consistent and designed to create a transfer of energy over and over again, it will create confusion or misinformation. Well, I thought they did that. What did you hear them say? Don't they do, that kind of thing doesn't serve your brand at all. Mm-hmm. Consistent language that transfers energy is the output of the impact-driven branding process. And the language is designed around the careabouts of those whom you want to impact. So it's a runway that helps your brand take off and attract exactly those that in your mind's eye you clearly see you can impact. When your brand thrives, it takes you to thrive in your language immediately. It helps you step into the brand. So the mistakes are inconsistent language. Oh, we try this marketing or we try that marketing, or we do things just to generate leads, and then it confuses people or it misinforms them, or they think we focus on. People do that all the time. And it's not just individuals, it's big companies. The other one is they don't have language that clearly and energetically gives them credit for what they're expert at. Maybe in a way that says it in a way that no one else said it before. So it's kind of a contrived expertise. And when they say it, people go, oh, yeah, that's good. I want that. What is that? It's an intangible brand promise. If the language isn't created to do that, you're missing a huge opportunity. When it is created to do that, you attract like a magnet, and you can track consistently because the language is always congruent with those characteristics or those expertises that the process, the 7-step has defined, that you must get credit for to make your impacts. Everything is what you must do, what you must get credit for, what the first expertise you get known for is to make your impacts. And since everything is aligned with making the impacts, guess what happens faster? And when you make the impacts faster, this happens faster. So it's like, we always think, we're trained to think about branding as, it's about a money thing, right? So if I need a brand, I can make a lot of money. If you focus on impact, if that's you, if you care about the impact of what you do, this is the process that serves you best, because you will get there faster and you will get to the money faster. The brand will be thriving sooner. And when you're thriving, and I mean thriving in all those things you envision you're doing when you're thriving, maybe you're speaking, maybe you're publishing books, maybe you're teaching others to teach others, you're giving the gift away as a legacy. Whatever you picture you're doing when you thrive at what you know you're about to deliver to the world, you'll get there faster. And when you do, and you're abundant in your delivery of impact, and you're abundant in the business, then you get to step from that platform into why you're really here. You see, our businesses aren't why we're here. Our businesses are a vehicle. God has blessed us with gifts, and some people have this gift and some people have that gift. When you dig into your heart and ask, what impacts do I really clearly see making with my gift? And you race toward those impacts, you're following what's in your heart. So what we're doing here is a lot of heart listening and a brand, and creating the brand that reflects you and your vision for the impact you want to make. How marvelous is that? Isn't that what will make you feel more significant? Like your life really counts? Like, wow, this is really happening? The answer is yes. That's all. And if we can do that for millions of people, what a blessing. It'll be a blessing to their lives, a blessing to their business, and since they're impact driven, to all of those whose lives they touch. The world needs this. And if somebody said to me, look, I have a $14 billion company, can you help me? The answer is yes. Been there, done that. Much more expensive because there's a lot of moving parts. But the processes are the same. Whether it's a teenager thinking about what they might want to do or become with their gifts and their interest areas, or it's a company that's already exists and they already, and they want to shift it and move it toward more, more powerful impact on their target audiences, or a solopreneur or a small business with a champion that knows what they want to do. When this process is used, that clarity occurs first, and based on the clarity, language is created, concepts are created that are magnetic and that transfer energy, and that alignment happens. And when the brand has finished its last step, which is the marketing readiness checklist, notice that marketing is last, branding development is first, marketing is the execution of excellent brand strategy. Okay, I sat on the AMA board for years. Marketing is execution, brand strategy comes first. When they do that, it happens faster, cleaner. They absolutely attract those whom they focus on serving with impact. So, and we use highest level impacts. There are a lot of impact. I don't want to confuse people with that word impact. So you mind if I take that for a second?
Yeah, no, tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about it. Yes.
There are two key words: impacts and clarity, that it would help to speak a little about. So impacts. If I'm going to make an impact on you, I might help you understand something. That's a pretty low level impact. Mm-hmm. But in understanding it, if you make a commitment to change a behavior, that's a different impact. If you change that behavior for 30 days and it's your new behavior, that's an even bigger impact. If you teach it to your children or to your clients or to your constituency, and now you share it, that's a bigger impact. If you take what comes and you serve your community, that's a bigger impact. If now you're, funding drilling wells in some country in the world that needs water, it's like there's levels of impact. They all count. Mm-hmm. When our businesses thrive, we're making impacts in our business and we're making impacts outside of it. They all count. For when the business thrives, what impacts are we making? So it is as big as your heart. If you see that your biggest impact is having 2 offices in a county, great. But someday you might see that you're going to write books because those books will establish your expertise. And then the next one helps create a bridge. And then the next one is about your purpose. And you've moved that brand along from thriving in a business and creating a platform to stepping into the reason that you're here, whatever that is. And we all have been given that. God's put in each of us a purpose. And if we forget about that, if you take 1,000 life coaches, they'll tell you whatever you don't work on takes you out, whether it's finances or faith or education or recreation or, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. If you don't work on it, it'll take you out. And so we have to acknowledge the fact we're here for a reason. And this is the branding process that helps you step into that. First, make your business abundant, and then use that wonderful platform as a way to step further into your purpose. How about that?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Answer the question, what's the difference between impact-driven branding and all this other branding we hear about, which is a buzzword that everybody uses. Everybody uses the word branding because it's about, and it doesn't mean anything unless it comes from somebody that really, really, really understands it from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And if you put a gun to their head and gave them 10 seconds that they could literally write down the process that it takes to make a brand come alive, not many people can do that. I've been teaching it for decades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing about what is different about traditional branding and what you're talking about today. And I think it's incredible that you talk about this really is about having an impact in your business and creating the clear messaging so that we can do that. I know I know you have so many amazing tips and a very incredible system on walking us through how to create a brand, especially not just any brand, an impact-driven brand. Can you share with us one quick tip that we can use today to begin the process of branding?
First of all, if someone sends me an email to rich@richbrands.org, it's .org, and says, send me the 7 steps, I'll send you the impact-driven branding blueprint that says, here's the 7 steps and kind of here's what they mean, and get going. So just do it. It's not the book, but it's a lot the essence of the book. So rich@richbrands.org, your impact-driven branding blueprint. Tip number 1, close your eyes, figuratively or literally, and picture your brand, whatever that is, thriving in the future. And jot down, what are you doing? Do you have 200 clients in your backyard? Or is your work being translated in 200 countries? Are you training people? Are you speaking publicly? Are you sharing concepts? Are you helping to change the way a country thinks? What is the brand doing, your brand, when it's thriving? Write those down. Maybe there's 20 things or 3 things, whatever it is, that you're doing when you're thriving. And then picture those people that you can really impact. And be specific. You're going to impact thousands, millions maybe, but pick the ones that you can see in your mind's eye that you can be specific on. And don't say women are more financially free. Say a woman from 40 to 50 with a special needs child finds a way to make herself abundant and leave a legacy for the child when she's gone. That's specificity. If that's you, write that down. It could be groups, but groups are made of individuals. So write down the ones that you clearly see. Don't just make a list. Don't do that. Do it from your heart. You can touch that. You can make people's lives more efficient, save them time, bring them love, help them release the weight of unhealthy life or the weight of a bad experience. Whatever your highest level impacts are, whom, my mom was an English teacher, whom do you clearly see impacting, and paint that picture clearly. And what is the highest level impact? Not just they understand, but they shift and they share the shift, whatever it is. Write those down, who and what. You can do 3. If you do 1, you come to my workshop, we'll work on that one and you'll get the whole process. But let's say you do 7. That's the first step, because what happens then is you define the brand you must become, and they're just steps you go through to make those impacts. It starts with the impacts, impact driven. And I guarantee you will make those impacts faster. You will attract those people sooner because you've defined your brand to be impact driven. You'll also impact lots of other people that you didn't write down, but you will absolutely impact them.
So powerful, so powerful. Thank you.
What you can do in the quiet of your home.
Yeah.
And your hammock and your garden.
Yeah, totally. And I love that you gave something tangible that we can do today, Rich. And that's amazing that you talked about that we can actually go and send you an email and get access to those steps as well. And I know you've got your book coming out right away. You've got an incredible workshop coming out right away. When is your workshop so we can block it off on our calendar? And how do we get your book?
You're going to love this. April 1st, no fooling. Okay, actually, there are 2 events. I know there are 2 events. One is March 18th, which is an intro for people who don't even know me, or they don't know brand. It's an introduction called Branding You with Impact, and it talks about what branding really is and why you'd even want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't give the how. It's not a how-to work. It's the what and the, but it introduces you and it helps you understand. You're going to sit there and you go, you know what, this is really for me, or you know what, I'm not ready yet, whatever. But it will help you reframe how you see branding. The April 1st it is a workshop. You come in with one impact statement written, and you and I can do that in advance, or we can do it right as the workshop starts. And you work the entire way through the 7 steps using that one impact. And you'll look down and go, I get this. I can do this. I can literally make my brand come alive and attract using this process. So branding ceases to be the anvil of I don't know, or I'm so intimidated by branding, or I need a guru, or I don't get this branding thing right, or we've really tried. All that stuff that people think about branding goes away. You are the manager of your brand. And you get all the help you want, but you now have a process, and it's simple. It's rigorous, simple. 7 steps.
Okay.
See examples of. Yeah. So, somebody out there that's hearing this is saying, I have so many things that are me. I'm a mom, but I'm a musician, but I have this expertise, but I also do this, and I don't know what my brand is. Get a hold of me. Just again, Rich@richbams.auto. Just send me and say, hey, I want to talk to you about me and my brand. And let's talk for 20 minutes. Just let's do a Zoom call. I'll help give you clarity, and I'll teach you about what's called an umbrella brand, which is you. Everything you mentioned that you are is a spoke. And the brand represents all those things and gives you a unique identity. It's either you personally, or it's an entity that you are the founder of. That umbrella brand concept has taken so many anvils off so many shoulders that that's you. The first thing to do is you schedule a power session with me. Actually, the first thing to do is get on the Zoom call with me. Just send me an email. Let's do a Zoom. Talk about me and my brand. Great. I still do that. I've done this 44 years. I still get on and talk to people without charging them money and give them some clarity and talk to them about branding and answer their questions. I love to do that.
Amazing.
And then probably the first step for you is a power session, which is it's a chance for me to really, dig deep into who you are and where your background is and how you got where you are, and put some structure to the clarity of what possibilities I see for your umbrella brand. It's not, but if you think you're ready to go and you have your, pretty well defined, get in the workshop.
Awesome. Rich, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been absolutely incredible. I appreciate the tangible advice that you gave about how we can get even more clarity on that brand, but not just any branding, that impact-driven branding. And thank you for the resources that you shared today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Connie, it's an absolute blessing. God is good. It puts us together. We get put together with the right people. And when we're on the right track, things just come into our lives. So the clients that find me and say, hey, I think I'm supposed to work with you. It happens to them too. And it happens to me all the time. And you feel like you're channeling. It's such a healthy place to be. And, if anyone's out there thinking, well, I really do want to make an impact, but I'm not ready yet, don't just sit. My biggest excuse for years was when I'm ready. Don't do that to yourself. You're ready. You were born with a gift. Let's get going and get some clarity so you can get moving forward towards your purpose. What a blessing. Connie, thank you. You're a wonderful interviewer, and I love what you stand for. Thank you so much for giving a voice to impact-driven branding today and to me. God bless.
Thank you so much for those kind words. It has been amazing. I think one of my biggest lessons from this conversation is how important it is to get clarity on the impact that we want to make. We need to start with the impact. And I know that what Rich is saying is absolutely true. And I'm excited. Get that free resource. You better email him for sure. Let him know that I sent you, and get that resource so that you can absolutely begin even more getting clear on your branding. Because here's what I know, the world needs your message right now. So let your fire light up the world, and we'll see you next time.